Hi everyone, so this is Maureen Bilhakamari in this second YouTube episode of the Baking for Profit podcast. In this channel, basically, I'm going to be sharing content that is specifically for home bakers or small baking businesses who are looking for motivation, clarity, and information like marketing on how to build awareness for your business and grow your business. So, in today's video, I'm going to share 3 lessons I learned from closing my first bakery shop. And I like sharing these lessons so you don't make the same lessons or make the same mistakes that I made. So I'm going to highlight what the mistake was and how to fix it or how to make sure that you don't do it. If you've gone through this, please do comment below. I always like to hear people's stories as well because we can always learn from each other. So basically, my topic today is the cost of failures. This is what happens when you fail and what it actually means when you fail, right? Because I think that I share a lot of information about what to do. I may share some information on what not to do, but people don't realize the cost of not doing the thing or the cost of doing things the wrong way, right? So I'm going to get right into the lessons right now. So the first lesson I learned is lack of clarity in your business offering can cost you in the long run, right? Not having any kind of clarity in your business on what you're doing, especially for those people who decide, I'm going to go from a bakery, home bakery to a shop. Having no clarity, especially when it comes to your target market and your niche, is going to be a very bad thing. So always remember you need clarity on niche products. What are you selling to people? Who needs the thing that you're selling, right? Your target market. I'm always saying this because, again, this is out of experience of what happens when you don't have clarity on that. And the second thing you want clarity on is costing and pricing. You want, because of what you're selling, the niche products, and because of who you're selling to, you should be able to get clarity on the costing and pricing. Now, I love giving my example of when I started a shop and it closed because that's the best example you could ever learn from. And what happens is that I basically opened a shop and closed within 6 months due to lack of clarity, right? So what happens when I started my home baking business, I had clarity on what I was selling, which was banana breads, lemon breads, orange breads. What happened after that when I opened the shop is I didn't have clarity on exactly what I was supposed to be selling. So when I opened the shop, I realized that the target market where I had opened the shop was not interested in my original offering. So I had to run around the first 2 months trying to figure out what it is that they wanted. So you see, first of all, I have started something new and I am running around trying to get clarity while I'm already in the business, right? One of the things I started doing, which a lot of people do, I know a lot of home bakers are starting to do, is try to sell products that are in shops. If you're in Kenya, you know what I mean, like little snacks like cupcakes or queen cakes, or maybe scones like the yeast products, or maybe you're doing the little tiny cookies or you're doing the little tiny cakes. So one of the things I started trying to do is those little scones, right? The yeast scones. Now, what happened is a lady who once came to visit me and she told me that she had been selling the cupcakes or the queen cakes, and she was based in Kikuyu. For those people in Nairobi in Kikuyu. And what happened is that she told me how over time she realized she was just making a loss. At that time she's telling me about it, I'm already selling these scones. So when she told me that, I actually went sat down and actually did costing. I had done costing, but in a very basic way. When I actually did the costing, I also discovered that I was making losses. This is while having the shop. So really, just as I'm doing this business, I'm realizing all the losses I'm making from this thing. Actually, really grateful to that lady who actually decided to visit me and open my eyes somehow and made me start thinking, am I really making a profit? So by not having clarity of niche, by not having clarity of costing and pricing, I was running a business. I was running a business that was not making a profit. But because I hadn't focused on what it is I'm selling, I was just kind of jumping from one niche to another, trying to maintain the shop. So you need to make sure that whether you're home-based baking business or a small bakery shop, you need clarity on your niche. You need to cost and price. Those two things will help you actually start marketing appropriately. So just food for thought on what you want to do with that. Now, the second lesson that leads to my second lesson, which is having no marketing plan or strategy. What that does is create a lack of consistency in sales in your business, right? Now, here's what I want to tell you, especially in these times when, economically there's a lot of inconsistency when it comes to sales. If you have a marketing plan or strategy, you may not get sales every day, but you should at least be able to get sales every week or every month. You can even have sales just the last week of the month or the first week of the month and make your targets. My point is, you have to have a marketing strategy and a plan in place, or you will not have any kind of customers. So you got to realize that you have to have a strategy and a plan. And so what that does is it means that every month you're going to be able to make some type of sales. Again, it depends on your resources and how hard it is you go with this, but generally you should be able to have some kind of consistency in sales. So what you want to do is come up with a marketing strategy in your baking business, because you have clarity on niche products and you have clarity on who wants those things, and you've done your costing and your pricing. Then out of that, you're able to actually come up with a strategy. Like, for example, if I know I want to make budget wedding cakes, right? Wedding cakes for people who don't have a big budget, because I know those are brides who have a very low budget. I'm going to know what I'm selling, who I'm selling to, and then I'm going to sit down and do my costing and pricing. Obviously, it's not going to be luxurious or very elaborate designs. It's going to be very simple cakes. Now, because I know that, what I'm going to do is go where brides who are on a budget would go. And one of the simplest way to start is going to like a Facebook group called Brides on a Budget and check there, or start posting there. So what you want to do is identify all those things cost, and then go find where those brides are going to be at. Is it maybe announcing in your church, or is it maybe announcing in specific places? Is it going to WhatsApp groups that may have information like that? Facebook groups are great for that as well. On top of that, also posting on Instagram. And you're going to make sure you're posting and mention the fact that your wedding cakes are budget wedding cakes. So you're going to attract budget brides, or brides on a budget. So what you want to do is, once you know your strategy is that, you break it down to a plan that is targeting budget brides. So that's just an example of that. We have this in our marketing session when it comes to our Baking for Profit program, where I break down how to do a strategy, and then how to do a plan, and then how to execute on that plan. The lesson I learned from this is that if you don't have systems in place, and yes, even a home-based baking business can have a system. When you don't have systems in place, especially when you don't be doing a lot of decoration yourself, you're going to become exhausted, because you're baking and you're decorating and you are posting on Facebook and you're posting on Instagram, you're doing all these things, or you're attempting to. So if you don't have a system, you start getting exhausted, which means you're going to stop doing some things. Like, maybe if I'm not able to do both the baking and the decoration, I'm going to do those because I have some customers, and I'm not going to post on Facebook, on Instagram, because I don't have the time, right? What happens over time? Things fall behind. Again, going back to my lesson that I learned. So what happened when I moved from a home baking business to a shop is that I changed my business model, which means things changed. So I was busier and I wasn't able to post on social media. I wasn't able to actually execute on my marketing plan, which I was before. Now, at first, that doesn't matter, but as you grow your business, or as you're going 2-3 months down the line, you're not posting, nobody knows about your business, you start getting less and less sales. So what happens, because I got exhausted and I didn't have a marketing plan, I started losing out on the traction that I had when it comes to marketing digitally. I was not posting on my blog. I was not posting on Facebook. I was not doing social media ads at all. I was just doing samples, but that's for a small segment of the market, which was not even profitable at that time. So basically, you want to make sure you set up a system on how you're going to market your business. Even if you're starting by yourself, have maybe a specific day that you're doing scheduling of content. Maybe have a specific day where you do 1 or 2 cakes and you're taking photos and you're doing videos. Batch out content. You're going to have a lot of content on your phone or on your laptop that you're going to now schedule, and then you're going to post on a extended period of time, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's because bakers tend to be very busy people. So if you want to really conquer this social media marketing or digital marketing, it helps to actually plan ahead and then schedule, and then you're able to actually continue marketing your business, even as you do the other things, like maybe decorating cake or baking cake or taking orders. So one of the things I learned is because I didn't follow up the first 3 months, I started feeling the effect the next 3 months. So in 6 months, whatever traction I'd made online, I had lost it because I wasn't posting and I wasn't being consistent and I had no marketing plan whatsoever. So what you want to do is you want to have a marketing plan as a home-based business or as a small bakery shop so that you don't fall behind on consistently bringing in customers, which you need to do for your business to actually continue. So that's one of the lessons that I learned. Now, I just want to mention when we are doing the Baking for Profit program, this is my online course that's now 8 months access. One of the things that I'm very serious on is marketing. I have a whole marketing segment that's very, very in depth on how to start accounts and all that. And one of the things that I'm even telling you is how to come up with a social media marketing strategy, how to fill templates that I give you that help you actually plan out your marketing. So if you really struggle with this and you're struggling with that kind of thing, you can choose to take our online program, the whole 8-month program. We also have a 2-month program that only caters to social media marketing. If you're interested in that, the links are in the description below. So, third lesson that I learned, already started, you need to start doing research now. This is a very good time to do research if you haven't done any research, especially if you have no clarity on niche or target market. This is the best time to do it. Yesterday was the best time to do it, the excellent time, but this is the next best time. So if you haven't started, or maybe you're thinking of moving from home-based to shop, please do the research necessary, right? If you have already started, like especially if you're a home-based baking business, or maybe even if you have a shop, dedicate some time to doing the research, especially if your bakery is struggling. If you know you're not making the sales you need to be making, you need to really start doing that research. And I mean this out of somebody who has made that mistake. So, second thing you want to do, you want to have a simple financial plan and a budget projection. This helps you know the amount of cash flow you need per month. This means that every month, these are the things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be needing bundles. I'm going to be needing airtime. Maybe I'm going to be buying ingredients. So you should have an idea of how much money you need in a month, not maybe in a week, but at least in a month. Is it 10,000? Is it 50,000? Is it 100,000? When you have a simple financial plan, it helps you know even when you're in the red. Like if you know you're struggling, I know I'm struggling because I'm short 50K. So that tells me I need to know what to do in the next couple of months or in the next couple of days to make up for that 50,000. But that's because I am aware of my cash flow or my plan, and therefore it helps me be prepared or even know when I haven't made it. And I am able to try and do things that will help me get that cash flow for a certain period of time, right? It also lets you know if you're doing well or you're not doing well. The problem with most people, they don't know what they need. So if you don't know what you need when you're in problems, you don't know yet. So you know when your business is already in a crisis. So having a financial plan or budget projection helps you know when you're going to be short. It helps you prepare and look for funding to make the money you need. Even if you're doing this maybe with a spouse or a sibling or somebody, or you have somebody who's investing or funding your business, knowing when you're short helps you out because then you're able to look for that funds before so that you can get them and actually do what you need to do in your business or take a loan or whatever it is that you need to do. However you run your business, knowing ahead of time kind of helps you. Having that information beforehand helps you out, right? So one of the things I tell people is lack of financial planning can lead you to bad debt. This is something I have gone through myself, and that debt can take years to pay back. This also sets you back when it comes to the progress of your business. This reminds me of a person I met some time back, like I think last year, who was talking about starting a pastry business. They started a big pastry business where it was like a whole factory. They had equipment, they had all that. They started baking. Now it wasn't huge, it was more like a small to medium. What happened, because they hadn't done any research and they had invested a lot of money, they kept taking loans and investing in this business and it didn't make it. And so the person had to sell the things, close down the bakery and all that. The problem with that is because you still have debt, people still want to be paid their debts back. So when I met this person at the time, I was meeting them last year, they were telling me that they're still paying off the debt. And this was about 6 years later. So what happens is that people don't tell you that the cost of failure sometimes, especially when it comes to taking in debt, is being in debt for a very long time. This happened to me, the same exact thing. I was in debt for over 6 to 7 years. And some some of the funding I'd gone, I never even paid back because it was one of those things where it was just trying to recover from all of the losses, and you're not able to pay everybody back. So it's just talking to people and be like, hey, I can't pay you now. I'll pay you another time. So you want to realize that sometimes when you make the wrong choices or you don't get the information you need, you start taking in bad debt, and that bad debt can follow you for a whole decade. Not only does that mean that you're going to be in debt and you have to either get a job or figure out what to do to make that money back and pay people, it means even as you're making money in your business, it's not growing your business. You're making money in your business and you're paying people back. So it sets you back when it comes to progress. Now, again, this is one of the things I learned, and I'm glad I learned them. And it's one of those things that just happened. But if you can, you definitely want to avoid being in bad debt, because what it does is just takes time from your progress as a business. Now, one of the things I like telling people, because then you just figure I'm talking about don't have any debt, realize that you should find a good balance in business. There is good debt and there's bad debt. So what you want to do is avoid bad debt. Again, lesson I learned the hard way. Generally, you want to have debt that you can be able to pay back using the sales in your business, right? Which means that your marketing plan has to be on point. So what you're going to do is figure out how to make sure your marketing system is very strong, so that means you have consistent sales, so that even if you take in good debt, it's going to help you grow your business, and then you're going to pay back using the sales that you're in your business. So just one of those things that I wanted to share is that. So one of the things I tell people, business is about learning, and every challenge you go through is basically a learning lesson. So if you have already gone through that, by the comment below if you've had that kind of situation. You don't want to regret that, because this is how you learn, right? So I don't regret the mistakes. They've taught me so much, and I am a better entrepreneur because of learning the hard way. But please do not make the mistakes that I've made. Please learn from them. Get the knowledge required to run your business and grow it successfully. If you can, please get a consultant. If you can, please get a mentor to help you go through that. I always tell people, if you haven't started, find somebody who has already started, talk to them. Ask them what are the top 3 things you should do before starting. If you have already started and you're struggling, find someone you can talk to who's done the business, who can help you with some of those things. We have a lot of content and resources on YouTube, on our blog, and also on our Instagram page that actually share some of these resources that are free that can help you out. You can also consider taking our online program, which really, really goes in depth. Like I show you how to set up legal requirements, things to worry about, accounting system, marketing, all those things that will kind of give you the information you need so that you're not making these mistakes when you're doing business. You really want to avoid that, but you want to get some kind of guidance from somebody who's done it before, so that you're not making these mistakes that end up being extremely costly to you. So one of the things I want you to do, please do comment below. Is there any lesson you've learned as a baker doing business, especially for those of you who have already started? If you have not started, from this session, what have you learned that you're going to put in practice that you did not know? So make sure to leave a comment. All right, guys, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. I hope this episode has really helped you out. I'll see you guys next time.